I serve as a serious cathedral office of the same sort. That's all. Thank you. Yeah, he's not saying he's also having a very nice male morale, and I know it, so thank you. Mchungaji, follow.
My name is Reverend Patrick Nayajuma, former Assistant Provost, SK Health Junior Cathedral, trainer at Johannesburg Church.
Thank you. Mchungaji, we served with him at St. Paul's Eldoret. Thank you because I talked to you, I referred you to Madalanga, and I can see you. Thank you very much.
Praise the Lord. Fadhili Richard Okwaro Dodo, Choir Director, Ebenezer Choir, Certificate of
We have not had that good. Please don't like a choir director. Oh, thank you.
Good afternoon. Come on from Basha. I was in Basha Parish and from the Diocese.
Clap for him.
Prince Wakula of Christ Church, Cathedral, Kaminga, St. Paul's Diocese.
Praise God. All the time. Heaven and Stephen, Bungoma Diocese, Rambo Buddhism.
Adu.
SK, St. Thomas, Navale, Diocese.
Thank you.
Veronica Musa, St. Thomas Cathedral, Navale Diocese.
Thank you.
Praise the Lord. Amen. Noel Ochona, Cathedral St. Thomas. Praise the Lord. Amen. If my provost, all my provost, my name is Philip Wood, I'm the director of the
Thank you. You are saying former provost or the current program? Provost now. So mnajua provost ni nani? So you know who the provost is. Just take the microphone again and introduce yourself as the provost now. Because you have just known the name.
Sure.
Now, Anglican Center, it is not. Behind there, we have our sister that we love, Proverbs.
Praise God. Amen. Praise God.
Amen.
Tudo!
Shepherd's Choir. Share and thank Shepherd's Choir. Don't know. Some of those
Yes.
And I'm the only one, MJ, from the Diocese of Bungoma.
Clap for Masinde. Thank you very much. Now, any Tanzanian who has arrived or do we have? Any? I think they are still stuck on the way, or they are coming, they are on their way coming. The last time we communicated, one was in Kampala. So, it was quite a long time. I think he must be around now.
He said at 2 p.m.
Sorry?
They said they will arrive at 2.
They say they will arrive at 2. We take it as that. You know, we cannot talk about somebody who is traveling. Okay? So we say they are on their way, isn't it? So, wakija sisi tutawashukuru. When they arrive, we shall thank God. Now, at this juncture, I want us to prepare ourselves for the psalm by all right, there is a small change in the program. We are going to follow the rules and the regulations led by our director. But before we do that, Thomas, come here. We are going to welcome our director with a song of her choice. So come thinking which song we are going to sing to welcome with cheerful our organization is we, the man. All right.
I hope you, let's see if your people sound what you train them or you need to know your training.
No, you can connect back home to your YouTube so that you don't go behind the phone. The event here is covering that. We are putting the link on IHM for you to share.
Si tunakumbuka? With cheerful notes. I say, pay attention. With cheerful notes. With cheerful notes.
A better clap for Florence. A better clap, a better clap. Another clap for your folk members. Yeah, for those who are not in the festival, those are the things that we do. Those are the things that we do. And the choirs have improved tremendously. Hallelujah. Myself being a beneficiary of the same. Last year I had 32 members in my choir. Today I have 49. Clap for me. Yes, Karibu Director. Continue with the program. Thank you. Good afternoon. We just decided to change what we were supposed to do in the afternoon we're doing now because of a technical issue which we'll sort out over lunch hour. We want to look at songs and the choir dress, but once we have the lead chat sorted out, because there's some demonstrations to be done, then we'll come back to that. So I want to go to a few issues regarding the International Film Festival, and these are basic guidelines that needs to help us in running the festival in the best way possible. And I want to speak from the premise that this is not, say, a competition. I've said that, and my
discussion will be based on that element that is not a competition. I would really desire that we achieve the objective of the festival by following the guidelines. Somewhere along the way, we need to remind ourselves so it is important that as we walk this journey, we follow the paths together as well. And we are now coming to the 10th anniversary of the Youth Festival, and we want to make it the best ever. Already we've seen very good preparation from there, and we want to match that by being clear on the guidelines. Some of the guidelines that I'm saying are written and they'll be in the booklet that will be given later at the end of the festival, but some of them are not written. So, but please take note. Number one, we would like the festival to be run the same way we run a church service, right from procession to recession and the processes. Last year we had cases of people jumping in and out, shouting and making noise. We want to treat it as a sacred event, a religious event, be in church when you sing the hymns and the psalms. So we would like this year to follow the procedure. We started the procession and we give respect always to our founding church, the senior choir in the region, that's the Mombasa Memorial Cathedral, where all of us grew from. You are aware of that, yeah? So we want to do a procession that will have all the choirs in their various gowns and done well. We want to look at it as a worship. We had incidences, number 2, of people moving in and out, chatting outside the venue, just right outside the place of performance. We are asking all choirs to be seated in their respective places throughout the festival, maintaining silence and keeping all moments at a minimum unless called upon to perform. Remember, way back in St. Stephen's Cathedral, choirs would sit and line up according to their entry. Remember that. We'd want that order to be in there because it serves good purpose when you all see and appreciate one another. It does serve no purpose when you sing and go out to rehearse with your choir out there, then come back and complain, and you're now against me. It's not about one another, but it's about learning and fellowship. It is good that when I perform, I can see you listening to me. And it's good that when you are performing, you can see me listening and appreciating you. We need to appreciate one another. So sometimes a choir will sing and vanish, then come back again only when they are getting on stage. We expect all the choirs, unfortunately, St. Augustine here is big enough, it can accommodate all the choirs. We'll be seated until when our time comes to perform. So that means there'll be no rehearsals around the festival venue. And if you so do, then it will be unfortunate that you may be barred from continuing the festival. We want to treat it as a worship, and singing and rehearsing around the venue will not be allowed. We'll provide a provision for a rehearsal point, warm-up point, where you can rehearse and come and perform, so that we do not have choirs all over and we have people performing. So the other thing, and this is the issue of hiring of singers. Some call them mercenaries, some call them mamluki, etc. And it has come to our attention that about 70% of the choirs in this festival are doing that. 70% of us here are not faithful to the ministry. It has come to our attention, unfortunately, that most of us are hiring singers for the event. And that is the saddest part of this. It's very, very sad. What if there were not trophies? If there was nothing, you ask you just come and sing, would you have the same singers? Because we aim to uplift the singing in your church, these people eventually leave you naked. And you have to go up again and come up again. And it will be a circular flow, go round, and fail to achieve momentum in your church and in your congregation. And sadly, for me and us, is that some of us, even our clergy, are present when you're doing that, and they're applauding what you're doing. It serves no purpose. We would rather, for me, I would rather we have no festival at all, we end it there, than have the kind of things we see that do not help us. I would like to walk to Lira, Bali, Nakuru, Mombasa, and see the same choir, same numbers, same standards. I'll be happy when I see growth in your church. I'll be happy when I see the numbers that you came with are growing, that are genuinely supporting us. And that's why some of the reasons maybe some choirs are no longer being supported by the clergy, who have noticed that you're doing malpractice in this festival, and they think you're not being a true Christian to this. I have received a lot of reports, we've received a lot of comments from all of you regarding several choirs whose names and everything we've been told, but we don't want to get the direction of policing you. We like your conscience to guide you and lead you the right path. That saddens my heart, and the founder too. Let us be genuine. Let us avoid hiring people to win a festival. What if you came and we agreed that this year there'll be no positions, you'll come to praise our God with music and go home? Would you hire them? Would you? Yeah, one day we'll approach that direction and just appreciate everybody the trophy, but no remarks. We want to see what happens. And these are the people who complain. The adjudicators against that because they came to battle for positions, for earthly glories. Yeah? Let us think about what we're doing, and I said, as Anglicans, let's do the right thing as Anglicans. The right way. Let's do it the right way. This is a point that I can talk about the whole day. The serves no purpose. It serves you, doesn't serve your spirit well, you don't serve your church well, and your congregation. You're eating your congregation money by carrying people who don't belong to your church, will no longer serve you. And you're cheating your God. Number 5, we are expecting choirs to be dressed decently. There's a big improvement we've seen in terms of attire, gowns. There's been a big improvement, but you're saying you want to enhance that. You want you to come perform the way you come to church, like the worship, so that you see you look presentable. Some of us, when we remove the gowns, then we become different. You should come prepared to look decent enough, smart, shoes and everything and trousers. Some of us put on good gowns, but you look at the shoes, the jeans, the sports shoes, and well, it looks not very nice. Let's look like in church. There was incidences of participants not being courteous to each other, and directors also not being courteous to each other, and also not respecting the festival staff, the marshallers, and the clerks at the entry. Look at that marshaller or clerk. Is that the usher in the Sunday service? Let us use language that some people used, language that was not Christian, in Dodoma, and did okay. Let us come to worship. Let us respect each other and appreciate each choir and appreciate the people who are helping us, whether they're the MCs, the marshallers, people who are distributing programs or anything else. Please respect them. we will require that all choirs, number 7, to learn all the 3 national anthems, East African, and the 3 anthems, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda anthem. For now, we anticipate the entry of South Sudan, then we'll also see how to work around it. But the anthems are all in the syllabus. Aspire that we all sing them, because we noticed that when it was Ugandan anthem, Kenyans were silent. When it was Tanzanian anthem, other regions were silent, like that. We would love that everybody sings all the anthems together from each region and appreciate the diverse skills that you have in the region. We require us to learn all the anthems, including the East African anthems. The other rule is participation. We are aspiring to grow our choirs, and as such, we have asked that we do not have replication of people in the classes. What do I mean is that if you sing solo, bass solo, then you cannot be in the duet. Neither can you be in the trio, neither can you be in the quartet. Why? Because there's possibility that other members in the choir are sidelined and you're not growing. A choir can easily come with 4 people, and the one will do soprano solo, alto solo, tenor solo, bass solo, they'll do a duet, they'll do a trio, and a quartet. That's why we want, once somebody has done solo, you do not take part in any other small ensemble between solo to quartet. So that you allow your choir to grow, develop your soloist, so that you do not have one person who will be singing all through. You want to see the other soloist and the other soloist and the other small ensemble. Please let us see that. Choir directors are not allowed to participate in this small ensemble. Not allowed. Not that we all don't want to sing, but we want you to develop your singers. We want you to develop your singers. So choir directors will ask you this and your names, and whoever is the official choir director of any team will not sing solo, duet, trio, or quartet. But the choirs that have assistants, those assistants can take part. But the chief director of the choir cannot be allowed. I know they can sing, we can sing, but let us see other people growing so that we have a future in the festival. Other issues we need to look at is that, going by our observation last year, there's a team that briefly came and sang all the anthems, and there were 4. 4 people, remember? We really appreciate them. However, we felt that there's a need to control that, so that we have choirs coming, but not individuals coming to represent. So there's a prescription for choirs, a small choir between 8 and 12 singers. A small choir between 8 to 12. Then the large choir should be 16 and above. We're just avoiding a scenario of 5 of us, very good singers, collecting ourselves and coming to showcase. You know, it's easy to get 4 people or 8, extremely good. So a large choir should be a minimum of 16 going upwards. Choirs should stay in the festival from the first day to the last day. Please plan for that. We want organization where we listen to each person, each choir at the same time. Because some 1 or 2 or 3 came and said, we have to go. Then you just go at the time. Your time goes, but you don't interfere. That you want to sing tomorrow's anthem today, and the other hymn for the 3rd day today. That is confusing the flow program. If your activities end on the day 1, then where you end will allow you to go, but not perform together classes. We do not want overflow, because we want to control entry of the items. We expect all of us to say from the first day to the last day of the festival. Basically, those are some of uh, the rules and regulations. More will come your way. Please note clear that the dates of the festival is 30th October to 2nd November. 30th October to 2nd November. Several people have asked, can you kindly bring 4 adjudicators, 3 adjudicators, 2 adjudicators? As I've said, because they're saying 1 adjudicator cannot do it alone. It doesn't matter, even 5 cannot do it alone, even 3 will not do it. We've been to festivals where adjudicators are 2 or 3, people still complain. People still complain, whether they're 10, they still complain. So it doesn't matter. Even if there are 2, and even 2 adjudicators have to agree. Alright, whatever they give is one voice, irrespective of numbers. We have said that we call them not to tell them what to do. We call them so that they give us their perspective, which is different from ours. Somebody told me, this adjudicator gave us this much. You know, in the Kenya Music Festival, the lowest we're supposed to get is 70%. You know that in Kenya, okay? Then I asked the person, you see that the least marks a question get is 70. Then ask the person, what are the least marks you got in your school? What marks do you get in maths or chemistry? You got 30, 40, and we're happy, isn't it? So, number 1 must not have 90. You can be number 1 with 40%. We happen to be the best in mathematics with 53 or 70, isn't it? So we should not come and say, our way, our system, our adjudicators do this. The founder will tell you, he never talks to them anything about the festival. Nothing. Just tell them.
Again, I just want to explain the process of getting the adjudication. What happened is that the adjudicators are recommended I asked the Royal School of Music, and then they asked hello? And then they sent my request to the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is in charge of all the cathedrals, and he will then ask them who is available, and then we will get one name, whether it is a lady or a man. Okay? And by the time this guy comes here, I've never met him. I don't know what he looks like. I probably know what he looks like from the picture because now I have to process some other things concerning that. And then they come and adjudicate. I don't discuss music with them, but the only thing I ever discuss with the adjudicators is football. Right? The last year's adjudicator was a terrible fellow, you know, he was an Arsenal supporter. So I didn't even So the previous one had no clue, but you know, he watched whatever team. The one before him was a Madium. So, you know, that was a good adjudicator. So, if you want to complain, you know, about music, you know, about how they do it, you know, then I always say, you know, send me your name and show me how you're better qualified, you know, than the adjudicators will get. Because, you know, these are some of the most qualified musicians in the world. Yeah? The most, you read their CVs, you know, we give you the CVs, you know, and you can see. Okay? So we bring them, you know, with that level of knowledge so that we can benefit, you know, in the best possible way. So, adjudicators, the only thing we discuss with them, and the only one we discuss with them, he doesn't even have anything to do with these people. It's not a big deal. And I only discuss football with them. Nothing else. Yes,
So you hear that, eh? And let us, I would want to hear, we would want to hear how they look at music and other perspective in other countries and grow from that. Each adjudicator comes with various criteria. Let's appreciate it. And then, of course, the issue of results that are being announced. We have pandemonium. There was almost chaos, and you have the bishop seated, waiting to give us the benediction. People shut off, disappeared, left the bishop there. That is not how you conduct your services. However happy we are, there's what you call moderation, isn't it? We need to practice restraint, whatever time the results are there. We'd like you to submit your items, anything you need, at the time given. Do not delay. Because of the number of teams that we have this year, there are very many, and we have seen that the day will never end. We have dropped one item from the festival, and that is the own choice scheme. On choice scheme, we have dropped it, and also for various reasons. At one point, we were not getting the proper hymns that we needed. For one reason, we noticed that there's a lot of manipulation of hymns. From one another, they are not congregation friendly, and they are not original. They do not help us in any way. So that has been dropped for this year. But even if you have to revert to it at some point, then we'll have to adhere to a lot of guidelines regarding the own choice scheme. So this year we shall not have the own choice scheme. Own choice scheme. Some people asked if we could have classes the way some festivals are run, class A, class B, senior, junior, advanced, etc. Well, it happens out there. But our purpose is that all choirs are equal. And some choirs have grown because they saw it in the city. Some people have grown because they saw success. Some people have grown because they saw money, or memorial, or Namasuba, or Kansan, or Kitali, or any other choir. We have grown through that because we see. So the fear is that when we decide that these are juniors, or let's say, and they sing there on their own, how will they draw experience? You want them to just be there. It's not about winning, but it's about being there and saying, I was number 37, this time I'm number 33. Okay? It's better than putting them aside, that this choir is still green and it has to grow. Then go without experiences of the other more experienced choirs. So we just allow you to sing together. At this time, this year we might have many adjudicators, not because of the request to have many adjudicators, but the plan is to have, if possible, except the date adjudicator. The rest will be here, possibly from the time we started the Andrew singing to Zaki up to the last year. We'd like them to grace the 10th occasion because you're looking at it to be a very different day. So we hope all of them will find time to be with us and just to see, or maybe support somewhere. We'll talk about the concert and everything else because there'll be something very different from the issue. So those are the things or remarks I wanted to mention about the guidelines of the festival. Kindly let's follow them because we are a very, very unorganized church, well traditional and grounded, then we should follow guidelines. Okay? Thank you very much. There's a few remarks that I wanted to talk about. Sorry.
Yes, I'd like to very briefly to some of the things that he said concerning the mercenary singers. I want to call them Mamlukis of the Tabernacle. Yes. Now, when I learned music, I had one objective, to become the organist of St. Stephen's. Then it was church, became cathedral. And there was a lot of people asking me, can you come and play for us? Can you come and play for us? And I agreed once, only once in my life, to go play the organ for the Christmas Carol service at St. Barnabas in London. Okay? And I wasn't going to play the organ for anybody except St. Stephen. Now, that is called tribalism. You have to be tribalistic. No, it was Anglicans, they're not tribal enough. We're not tribalistic enough. That is why we're allowing a lot of people to come into our church and come with new ideas and all this being addressed. I don't remember. we have to be tribalist, as far as I'm concerned. Be tribalistic to your church, yeah, to your cathedral, to your parish, like I am, yeah, so that when we meet here, we can share ideas from each other, not also be, like a, what do you call it, a fruit salad or something like that, we can't tell the difference between, you can separate the pineapple from the pork, from whatever is in it, okay? So my encouragement is, let's be, as far as our churches, parishes are concerned, and eventually the Anglican Church is concerned, let's be tribalistic, very tribalistic. Okay? I talked about the adjudicator, and then now, we talked about discipline, and encouraging people to be the audience, when our fellow people are singing on stage. Where I sit, normally I don't make speeches and I don't talk, and I do things. And I've been observing since, we started this festival for 10 years, and I was looking at, who is it who maybe embodies Anglicanism the way we understand, the way it should be, who's got that discipline to be followed, who dresses like an Anglican, who conducts themselves like an Anglican, who has time, for the other singers, among all of you, even for people say, and once they finish, take off, they don't want to know, what they are saying, what can be done from them, okay? And for 10 years I've sat and looked, and there's one particular distinctive choir, who has met 99.99% of that criteria in terms of what embodies, true discipline and what's coming up for us like this to do what we've come to do. Is interested in you when you sing, they don't move, but they come properly dressed. And in fact, they were the best dressed Anglican choir in this festival for 10 years. So this year we're going to give them a trophy, to appreciate that, so that everybody else can follow the example. Over and above that, we are going to have medals, for choir directors, who have been with us all the time. Those medals will be for the leading choristers. They'll be called the leading choristers medal, and we're going to give them to all the choir directors. And then we're going to do maybe 20 or 25 per choir, to be given to what the directors will recommend as the most committed members of the choir. People who don't come and go, And this means not just coming for the festival, but also do they participate in your services. What we're trying to achieve here, is to get excellence, musical excellence, but not for me to go and do whatever I want with it, to bring back to church and ensure, that worship is enhanced, the way it should be. When we go back, is our congregation learning how to sing because we are singing well? We're getting the congregation encouraged, through the way that we're singing. So we're going to give you about 25 medals, but to begin with, we'll be able to increase this based on your recommendation as to do. But choir directors will get a medal, or 25 members of your choirs based on your recommendation. These are things, that they can wear because they'll be all given to them by the bishop, who will be the guest of honor or whoever is supposed to, like here now, your bishop. Give them this member. So they are sure they can be ones that have been consecrated by that bishop. And you can let them in service over your own, like most international choirs. Thank you.
Thank you, choir director. My question and concern is on dropping the old joint. If all joints become dropped, it's like we are removing the blend. That gives a good taste entire process. If there was due consideration, maybe a hymn chosen by the organizer, if it's a question of time, that one can be dropped. Then on choice comes in to make that blending very well, to remove the monotony. That's my opinion, my observation. Thank you.
Okay, let's have order. I know that it's a very heated debate to drop own choice. One, fanya kidole yako moja hivi. One, if you look at the choir registered for this year's festival, there are 70 choirs. Are you considering that? 70 choirs. We will need an extra day. So that now it is not 3 days, it will be 4 days. Some of the choirs are not even able to cater for the 3 days. Two, there was a complaint by our director in the administration of this IBCHEF. When we are told to do own choice hymn, some are just recomposing them like an anthem. So now the director and his team will sit down to give us direction on how a hymn, own choice hymn, is supposed to be sung. All right? Before that is done, allow us to drop it this year. One of the most biting reason is because of the numbers. Then after now that, the director will give us direction on how the standard should look like. Just turn to your neighbor. Turn to your neighbor. Do this. One thing I want us to do is just do this like he is. I want you to tap that neighbor. Tap him or her. Tell him or her, don't bring non-members of your choir in the festival. Tell that person, don't hire choir members. You know, one of our MCs during last year's festival made a joke. There is a choir which came here with 4 people. You remember? There is a choir which brought 4 people. The MC said, this is God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and the Bishop. Okay, 4 people. Do you call them a choir? Do you call them a choir? It's a quartet, isn't it? So that those 4 people represented a whole choir. But if you look at it from very inside, there was a problem which made them to come as 4 members. Are we understanding each other? So what the director is saying, I'm just putting some emphasis on some of these things. The reason as to why the director is saying there are standards. You cannot bring 4 people and call them the whole choir. So if there is a problem at home, solve that problem so that you come as a choir, right? Yes. Are we agreeing? Yes. You know you are a plenary. Now this is called public participation. Are you agreeing with that? Let us have a choir from 16 people and above. And even there's a small choir, let's have 8 to 12. Then the others are small groups, solos, duets, quartets, quintets, and all that. All right? So, with that, I want to bring back the program to director so that he tells us what next. Thank you.
Maybe this could have come when we are discussing about the accommodation. But since we're talking of size of the choir, as a host, I need to present this clearly to you. That you are shopped around and found out that the hotel that is going to accommodate your members, the one who takes more than 30 and 12 are not made in this city. So if you're coming 6 plus, either you're going to go for that expensive hotel or otherwise. But there will be need to set a standard of the choir. It's going to become a lot of outbreak. What should be the membership of the choir? From if you say it's 15, what about the highest? How far do we go high? That is also important. It helps in planning so that we don't get into difficulties. Those who like choir are going to run into difficulties. We can look around for where to put the choirs and find problems with it. That becomes a precarious. And even in traveling, that's another problem. So maybe you can make mention about that. How to write good choir, what is the size of the choir? To me, it's not there. Anyway, but if you want to go that large, we need to think about it very carefully.
Okay, that's noted. We'll address that. If there are any other issues, I think you can write on a slip of paper, because we've lost some time this morning. We'll address them maybe before, after lunch, because we have one more presentation now. We'll go for lunch. Kindly, if you have any comments, anything that needs to be addressed, write it down, then we'll talk about it after lunch, so that you save time. Okay? Is that okay? Yes. We'll address that. At this point, we'd like to invite one of us, actually the founding adjudicator of IHF, the first adjudicator, when we started, and that is Mr. Andrew David Singendo Zaki of Koloza Majadoro. We've known him for many years. He's been part of this festival. And for us in St. Stephen's Cathedral, his uncle is the one who founded the Cathedral Choir, St. Stephen's in 1954, before he became the head of music at Kenyatta University. And he's the one who compiled all folk music and everything in Kenya and put it into one document. The nephew to Professor George Zaki. Andrew Zaki, karibu sana. He's going to talk to us about choir etiquette. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mwalimu, our patron, fellow choir directors and choristers. I'm glad to be here in this capacity. I'm humbled by what Mwalimu has said, but I'm still at the same level as you are learning. So don't think that there's anything special I'm telling you. I'm sure you know all the things we're going to talk about. And it's just the perspective in how we approach it. I'll request you to stand and sing what the organist will play. that's one of the reasons I wanted us to start with something like this. I'm going to explain choral etiquette using this psalm as an example. Please sit. We are going to have several perspectives of how to approach etiquette. What is etiquette? Etiquette is conduct. Does anyone have any other way to think about etiquette? The most important thing, I believe, is for us, first of all, to work as a team. I'm glad that when you were singing, Lomas, what did you conduct? With cheerful notes. And we all sang it as a team, yes. Meaning that even in our rehearsals, we gave it time and worked together. But when it came to the sound, what happened? We were the same people who sang with cheerful notes. What happened to the sound? Both of these were items in last year's festival. What happened? It's working as a team. We are going to cover various aspects, and these will include, of course, each of your choirs has different rules and guidelines. Some of you have bylaws. Is the choir allowed to have a constitution? Well, in my diocese, I'm informed that it is only the church that has the constitution, and ours, because we are subsection of the church, have bylaws, and we ascribe to the constitution. So I know each of you in your various dioceses and churches have rules and regulations and guidelines that guide you in how you operate. So I'm not going to go so much into that because you know how you administer your choirs. But there are some things that cut across some behaviors. Right. Each of us here is endowed differently. I think of myself as a tenor singer. Some of you are bass, some of you may be good performing solos and so on. But when we sing together, we are working as a group. Even when it comes to working for the good of the choir, you realize that some of us are louder than others, not just in singing, but also in mannerisms. Do you get what I mean? Some of us, okay, you realize that even on the IHF platform, WhatsApp platform, there are those people who are always talking, always commenting, always. And then there are those of us, for us here, we call it being in Kamoli. What is Kamoli? Being in the ventilator. You're in the ventilator peeping to see what all these people are saying. Now, when we are working as a team, it would be important that those of us who are loud don't overpower those who are in the ventilator. Allow them room to share. Anyway, those are general things. I would like us to start by looking at especially what brings a choir together. What brings the choir together? To sing. In order to sing, we must rehearse or practice. First of all, I believe each choir has a... Thank you very much. Don't worry, I'm not going to preach. I prefer it to be. Thank you very much. We come together for rehearsal, but each choir has a leadership, has an executive that needs to inform people, choir members, about the need for rehearsal. So the choir executive takes the first priority in preparing the choir for practice. We use several media, of course, WhatsApp, text messages, and so on, but I believe we need to use this as a means of practice etiquette. Make sure that all members of the choir are aware of what needs to be practiced, when, what time, and where you're going to rehearse from. Another challenge we have as choristers, preparing ourselves for practice, is keeping time. We don't keep time. Some of us have excuses. I have a challenge. I'll use myself as an example quite a bit. I have a challenge. For the many years that I've conducted or instructed choirs, unfortunately, I am sometimes good at teaching certain songs. So when I turn up for the rehearsal, all the members have turned down. But on the day when I can't be there, and I ask somebody else to step in, the turn up that day is terrible. Some people sing the person, they don't sing the music. So if I don't turn up for the rehearsal, people don't come. Once they know I'm not there, they also don't turn up. It's only when they know that, oh, he'll be there. So we don't keep time, we sing individuals, and well, we need to revise that bit about our practice etiquette. One of the other reasons why we should turn up early, I would like to commend the hosts for preparing this room the way we found it. Already it's out of, we've disorganized it quite a lot, and by the time we end today, the chairs will not be as they were at the beginning. We need to learn, even in rehearsals, to turn up early, to help set up. Let's not wait for particular individuals to do that for us. And at the end of the day, let's make sure that the room or place where we're rehearsing from is back as it was originally. Forgive me for saying this, but I'm sure by the end of the day, some of you will leave items that were not in this room, in the room. You know what I'm talking about? Okay, I'll go further than that. How much time do we take to prepare ourselves for rehearsal? there is something I had floated to Mwalimu about, the IHF organizes this workshop in January or latest February, and the festival is in October, November. Now, between now and then, I'm still giving a personal example. In my case, when I receive the music, I try as hard as possible to get it to the singers as early as February, after having gone through it. But when the singers really turn up, they turn up in September. I give you the music in February, but you turn up in September. How much preparation do you take as an individual for your rehearsal? So I was floating to Mwalimu that maybe we need something to wake us up every month. Maybe a mini workshop or something that will keep us on our toes and help our members and we ourselves to stick to being able to present better quality music. So the challenge, it starts with us. Do we take time from the moment we are going to receive the music, for example, to go through it and learn it and then prepare our singers for it? I guess that's probably one of the reasons why these ideas of recruiting people from elsewhere to come and sing comes in, because you can't raise your own singers cannot perform these pieces, so you go to a church nearby or someone you studied with to come and help you sing this music. Let's try to work through our personal preparation for the rehearsals. Now, out of personal rehearsal, I think we improve ourselves. It's interesting, like we sang with cheerful notes, meaning that even in our personal preparations, we devoted more time to with cheerful notes, and we thought, this one anyone can do. Some of us, strangely enough, once we realized we were number 30-something, listened to what the other choirs were singing, and then came and tried to present like those choirs. No preparation whatsoever. And we try to have preparations, personal, so that when we meet up, it's easier for us to go through the music. This is the last one of this preparing for rehearsals. Warm-ups. It's a good thing to always do. Warm up every time you meet for rehearsal, and encourage your members to also perform this. Question: how many of you here have pencils? No, I know you may have it at home. I want you to show it to me. Put pencils. 2, you're borrowing. Where's yours? Nice little pencils. Does this constitute even, about 10%? Pencils are useful in rehearsal I know many of you love your pens, but writing in the music score, something that you can eventually remove. For example, the choir master wants a certain expression when you're singing at a certain point. He wants you to pause. Pause. Same sound, same sound. I want you to break there. If it's me that wants you to have a break there, and I want you to put it, the pencil is the best option. Another may want you to do it this way. For example, I'm away, I've gone for a month or two, and then we get this other conductor who says, he's removed the pause that I put. So you've got to rub out what the other conductor did what? Told you. Please, pencils, learn to carry them around with you. I'm happy to note that phones have not been so much in use except for taking photos and recording video. But many times we find problems. The instructor gives the key, and then someone's phone plays a certain popular melody, which is in a different key, distracting the people from what has brought them around. Please, make sure you always switch off your phone or have it in silent mode. Okay, we've talked about commitment to attending practices. Something else to note, like we said about the WhatsApp group, some of you are in the ventilators. But when you come for rehearsal, really, if you have come for rehearsal, engage in the rehearsal. There's a choir I was involved with. I hope I'm not offending anyone, but it's a Catholic choir in Kampala. But one of the challenges they had was when they come for rehearsal, most of them learn by note. They first listen, they look at you and listen to what you're singing, and they sing that after you. Now, many of these people, being in Kampala, many of these people were coming from work to rehearsal and back home. But some of these would only come to show off. Well, what we are talking about here is engagement. When you come for rehearsal, be there to rehearse, to sing, not to do something else. Some of these people came to show off. You know, if it's a daily rehearsal, if I come in a new dress, forgive me ladies, but it was the ladies. In a new dress, in another shoe, different jewelry, perfumes and that sort of thing, you know, every day. And there's a friend of mine, a lady also, she'd had an accident about 6 months earlier, which left her ankles broken and deformed. And she every day would come in the same sandals, limping, the same dress worn 2 or 3 times. But she was a very good singer. Who benefited the choir more? The sandaled one, yes. So please make sure that the people in your choir who come for rehearsal are not there for show. They've come to engage in the singing. And once you've achieved this in your choir, I think you will have even more unity, and you will have respected the music that you have come to sing. On this point, I think we need to make sure that our choir's guidelines and rules or bylaws or whatever are followed by members, so that we don't have cases of indiscipline, moral issues cropping up, and will remain a unit. Singing, we are looking at singing related etiquette. I don't know for you, but in our choir, all people are welcome. In other choirs, you will first go through an interview. Interview. What do they call it? There's a technical term. Auditioning. They'll give you a piece of music and say, now sing that. If you can't sing it, then bye-bye. I would think that all of us are capable of learning how to sing. So, try to make it a point that the people who come to your choir to sing are taught how to sing. They can learn how to sing. Some of us have this habit of intimidating others. It's been noted, okay, even in my choir, when I invite someone new to come in, and then after 3 or 4 rehearsals, he or she no longer comes. And then when I ask, did you know the other lady, I'm sorry ladies, this is more with you than anybody else. The other lady, when I sat next to her, she said, move further away. You are feeling the morale of someone who's there to learn. Try to accommodate people and help them to learn how to sing as well. Another left because, sorry ladies, she was not given the solo part. She wanted to do the solo, and I gave it to someone else who I was teaching to sing. Another left because I didn't put her in the front row. She wasn't singing as well anyway. And we were trying to teach those other people who had come to learn to sing, and I would put them in the front row, and the other one left. Let's learn how to sing, and learn how to sing with unity behind whatever motive we have, not discrimination. Are we together there? Are we together? Okay. Some of us tend to think that we are good and therefore don't need to rehearse. even the musicians that we've had over radio, whatever. I recall one of my favorites in sustaining notes was the late Whitney Houston, and I'm sure you can guess the song. You can, yeah, you know the rest of the words. But I'm very sure she didn't just get out of bed to come and sing. Did she? Rehearsal. If you are to get any better, you also must put in some effort. So don't think that you are better than anyone else. Try to make sure that you conduct yourself to use your instrument properly. Okay, we've talked about warm-ups. I don't know, at some point we may do some. Okay, good performance conduct is something else that I wanted us to look at. Challenges we have in this regard is that, okay, like I mentioned, at a certain point, I may not be there to lead my rehearsal, and someone else is there. And I'm sure each of us has different conducting styles. So when it comes to performance, I'm very sure when we were trying to sing the psalm, each one of you was remembering how their conductor was doing what? Was conducting it. But he was not here. I was the one. Rather, I am the one. So it is me that you should pay attention to. Pay attention to your conductor. Not the one who conducted you yesterday, but the one who's conducting you now. Whatever instructions he gives you is what you should follow. Another challenge we have in performance is that, because I know my voice is good, and the one standing next to me, the voice is, therefore I must sing louder so that they hear me and they don't hear this one. We did not come for a competition. Okay? We didn't come for competition. We are there to sing together in unity, in balance and blend. Many times when we come for rehearsal, we don't know how to listen. Being a good listener is important. In as much as you may be just, okay, you may think of yourself as a very good singer. And you think you know, well, we've got people in our choirs who have studied music and music theory and harmony and so on. And the conductor may not know some of these things. So when he comes and gives you an instruction, you say, but it's not supposed to be like that, so I won't listen to him. He's your boss for that moment. Please respect him. If you wish to correct him, take him aside at some point and advise him on how you think something should be done. Don't make yourself the star of the moment. Listen to your fellow singers also. Many of us, I wanted to say men, but I don't see men you know, when we are singing and then he says, then he hits you with the elbow. I don't see men hitting fellow singers on the side with the elbow, but ladies do. Try to. The reason I'm saying this is, I would like us to try and listen to those even we think that are less than us. You know? If somebody has a challenge, reach out to that person and find out what it is so that you can sing at par. So, the importance of listening allows for better coordination, timing, and responsiveness. When we listen, we can know when to work on our dynamics, our volumes, and expressiveness. Subordinate etiquette. Subordinate etiquette. We have leadership in our choirs. But I guess for some of us, we put these people there as portraits. You know, we want our choir to have, when somebody hears, oh, it's so and so's choir, then you think that is the choir. No, it isn't. But we need to make sure that the leadership we put in place will actually work for our choir, and we will respect it. If we don't have good leadership in our choirs, the same applies, that we will not be good ourselves. And we may not be able to have progress in our choir. Some of us have a challenge in that we don't like receiving orders. I want you to stand there and you refuse because you think that is where you deserve to be. But you're being asked by your superior, by your leader. Learn to be obedient and respectful. We've talked about if you are not in agreement with somebody, don't do it out in the open. Take that person aside and solve that in a more diplomatic manner. Now, you may have something to say about this. The choir's hygiene etiquette. You can start thinking. One, we need to keep our venues, our rehearsal places clean and tidy. Be it at church, be it in a hall like this one, we need to keep places tidy. Mwalimu has talked about dress code. How do we dress? Not only for the church services, but also when we come for rehearsal. I've given you the instance of those who come to show their new shoe, new dress, new earrings. Men never come to show off their new ties. Do they? Ties? Okay. Well, let's not come to show off, but we need to dress decently anyway, and in an appropriate manner. Of course, dress is relative. If the choir has organized an outing at the beach, there, I guess, you can dress differently. But how you dress going to the beach is not how you're going to dress when you're coming to church for rehearsal or for service. I hope we can differentiate the two. We've gotten, many of us have quite a number of youth in our choirs. And many of them these days come with dreadlocks. This one is on boys especially. Boys and the young men. Dreadlocks. And in the Anglican setting, this is frowned upon. I'm putting it under dressing. What can we do about that? Well, it sort of denotes that somebody is leaning in a certain direction that is not normal. I don't see anyone here with dreadlocks. Maybe because you are past a certain generation and it's the generations lower down that do this. Anyway, you will find them among the praise and worship teams that we have. Some of them come with dreadlocks and stuff and they're lauding. But is that decent? If we are talking about Anglican choirs. Okay. Sensitive but not. Do you bathe? Do you brush your teeth? Do you use deodorant? Some of us always have odors coming out of our armpits. Do we have a way of making sure that these will not inconvenience other members? I discouraged in our choir, and I guess there are several other choirs too, I've known campella singers. The director asks people not to wear perfume, ladies. Deodorant is, I think you know the difference between deodorant and perfume. Perfume, some of these have, they are so strong that you don't hear it. You smell it. You smell it from 100 meters away, and you know that somebody is coming. Some of those have a tendency to affect our vocal cords, and some of us may choke in the process of singing. So let's avoid perfumes, right? Deodorants, I think, are fairly okay. But what we're talking about is personal hygiene of this nature. Vocal health. Do we keep ourselves hydrated? We strain our voices so much when our throats run dry, and we still carry on singing, and our voices produce unnatural sounds. Try to keep yourself hydrated. Drink, have a bottle of water, not necessarily cold. Room temperature water will help. Avoid shouting too much. I know some of us as trainers, for somebody to hear you, you must raise your voice. Hey, why aren't you singing the right note? Huh? Something like that. But if I can tell you, could you please sing that note again in that tone of voice? I'm sure that person will hear as well. Don't you think so? Try to avoid putting unnecessary stress on your voice. Okay, I'm just about concluding. I wanted to give us another perspective of what we should always consider as good manners and conduct for choir members. Good manners and conduct for choir members. Have a set of guidelines and behaviors that contribute to a harmonious and productive choral experience. Have respect for other choir members and have respect for the music also that you're singing. Every choir has different customs and traditions. Please make sure that you uphold these customs and traditions. Another issue we looked at was proper attendance and punctuality. Attendance and punctuality. Make the point to be a team player. Show dedication in learning. You need to learn. You need to improve also. However old or young you may be. I'm sure Canon, when I said Canon, he looked at me. Canon CM, what was the last one? CML. I'm sure he's also still learning. And I'm sure he's probably the oldest around here at the moment. But I'm sure he's still learning. So be dedicated and be adaptable and flexible. Be adaptable and flexible. The last and also communicate respectfully. Communicate respectfully. Communicate respectfully. Whenever you need to say something to one person or another, whatever the level, whether they are your seniors or juniors, respect the person you are addressing. There would have been plenty more, but I'm sure people may eat me for lunch instead of the actual lunch. So at certain points, well, not at certain points, I hope that some of these can be made available to you so that you read them in more detail as I had written them out. I'm sure you already knew what I've talked about is something you already know or you've experienced. So it's not as new, but it would be nice to have something to help remind you of what your duty and role is with regard to choral etiquette. There are a few other things like always make sure you warm up, just do it. Do your homework at home, learn your notes on your own, fix your mistakes. We've talked about switching off your phones. Try not to be negative. Some of us, whenever, will that person manage the song? Are you sure? Already you are negative and you are not encouraging anyone to. We talked about watching the director. Stay in your zone. We've not talked about the zone, but try not to go beyond you. Some of you want to show you are higher up than others, We've talked about arriving on time, attendance. We've talked about pencils. But when I talked about pencils, it is not all that you should come for with in rehearsal. You need to come with your music as well. Right? Yeah. These are some of the things, but I'm sure you already know that. I don't know if there are any contributions you'd like to make to what I've presented or, well, Dennis, you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Possibly, well, majority of the presentations, they are very good reminders, but possibly some of them were tailored towards maybe the choristers, but also our own. Well, some of them you already touched on them indirectly over there. But I think also, one of the simplest also, I thought I was going. One of the simplest also, see, as a leader, we also need to be a good listener. Before you tell the choristers to listen well, even you will have to be a good listener. Because you also need to listen to the choristers. Some of them might be mumbling down there, fearing their height. But there could be certain things also that might come up within their height. How short they are. In authority, they might also talk tall. Two, yes, you said a very good important point, which I commonly see also with our choristers and our choir members. You find simplistic seats are well arranged. Like sometimes we go early, sometimes I go 1 hour early. Arrange seats. After arranging seats, you find someone still wants to pull the chair from where you put it and place it the other side. You ask this one, please come and sit on this chair. The person picks the chair and wants to come and sit behind. I'm just citing this as an example. That these are very difficult norms to deal with in society. But I think, one point is there are very many choristers who fear warm-up. I don't know how we can go about this. Very many fear warm-up. And very many times that I think when I reach 20 minutes after the warm-up will be done, then I'll come and join in the actual reaction, the actual singing. Then when you ask the person why the person joins the warm-up, it may temporarily cause an exit, and so on and so on. So really, you have put the point forward. Is Some of them are very difficult things to do with. Some of them may be obvious, but they may not be the obvious to others. So I really don't know. What would you advise maybe the trainers, the directors, and there are others who you're right. There are others who come and sing a person when they see that Ojue is not around and he's partly training. I don't think I feel like training today because Ojue isn't there. Now it's Patrick. So I don't know in other choirs, but these are very common practices really that we really need to do. So I just rose up to thank you for the very good reminders you have made to us. The list can be very long. Thank you.
I guess we take just two more. But really, all this begins with us. Not just do what we say. Right. So it's us that must be an example for them. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I can remember Jeff said that we congratulate him for having increased the number of square. However, you discussed when we were talking about hygiene, etiquette. You talked about decent dressing. Me as a trainer, I'm tempted to believe, just as you talked about dreadlocks and maybe my dress, my choice. Down where I come from in Kenya, they have my dress, my choice, and the dreadlocks. I think this is one factor that is making our choir become very difficult to manage. And even raising the number as Brother Jeff did, maybe we got a lead from him. It's not easy. Because when they come in dreadlocks, you say, well, you know this one, we may not need this kind of stuff. When we dress this way, we may not need it. Then they say, if that is the case, why are you let the choir be for old mamas and old mamas? How can we help this? We are in a workshop, we can share. Thank you.
Just one more. There is one there. Oh, okay, we'll ask Canon to also come. After, Doctor.
Very short. This goes to the elderly ladies without fear and favor or fever. Whenever they are young, for instance, in the choir, they begin to murder them in public, in the choir, sending them, open my car, do this, bring me a chair, clean for me this. It is so irritating. I got this from my children because one time we were with elderly members from somewhere, and they were not popular, so it was saying at that point.
Thank you, Doctor. Canon.
Thank you very much. Brother Zakia, I remember very vividly when I was in teacher training college in Kericho. So we went to Kenyatta University where we sit. And some old man came up and asked, do you know any European musician? If people in the past did not have no clue. So because I was a freshman, I was a freshman, I said, Richard Vaughan Williams. And somebody corrected me saying, Richard Vaughan Williams. That was Professor Zaki. Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow Anglicans, we have a problem. You just pass through and say, the choir leadership must be okay. But in Kenya, and especially in my dad in Mombasa, we have a problem. That choir chair or the administration of the choir think they own the choir and so they can control the choir. Like they say, tomorrow there will not be any choir practice.
not knowing whether the director is prepared to practice tomorrow or not. See you for Japan. That's what it's saying. Now, another thing is almost like what my brother Dr. Terry said. When we have all the power members, there is problem of certification. Those who are good singers want to sit in one end, and the freshers like me to sit on the other. So that when sopranos mess up, you say, soprano, you mess. They tell you, sir, it wasn't me, it was those who.
Chair, will you please guide us? Can we carry on a bit with the Q&A?
Maybe because lunch is almost being set, we have maybe our brother to react to 3 more people as they set the table, isn't it? We agree, isn't it? So first 3, 1, 2, 3, isn't it? The first.
Gender.
There is a lady.
Thank you, members, ladies and gentlemen. I think when Brother Rick is talking to us about the young, we've not considered a lot of things in dynamics in our church. And when our brother talks of the young people joining the choir, then they are being sent, do this, which is not there. The only thing which we need to do as the leaders of the choir, as directors, we need to embrace them. And we need to inculcate the culture we have in them so that they adopt and move with us together.
Thank you very much, Brother Andrews. First and foremost, I've been a chorister for some time, but I've never done warm-up. I would like to help me. What is warm-up for a musician? 2, for me, I encourage young kids, middle-aged, the old. For us, our choir, where I come from, it's everybody's choir. Now, I found out one thing. Those people with dreadlocks, with hairs as if they are thorns, what we do in our choir, we embrace them and we change them slowly. We have a disciplinary committee which handles that. We sit you down and we show you why you are supposed to be an Anglican chorister. And then we change you slowly. We don't break it. We just turn you around and then we move it. Thank you.
A question just about the woman, and it has just been asked. So, first the microphone.
I have always been having one challenge. When you call people to come for practice, you can have a choir of about 40 people. Then you say, next week we are going for competition, and we are going to use a minibus which can only take about 80 people. Selecting or choosing those who are going to lay up for that competition is always a very big challenge. It has always given me a very big challenge. How you begin removing some people who have also been coming for practice. That has been the main challenge I've always faced.
Thank you very much for all your observations and queries. We will not have any more because even the lunch is there. But carry this discussion back to with you. How do I improve my choir? In fact, even before the singing takes place, if you do not improve choral etiquette, then even the singing will not be much better. Well, it may be much better, but because, well, if you use people who just come for the sake of singing, disregarding all these other issues we've talked about, then you are not raising the choir for your church. We talked about respectful communication. One of my brother from Ginger has raised this, and he said they embrace these people with dreadlocks and turn them around. How they turn them around is not, I believe, is not confrontational. In my local church, the head of Leighton saw someone seated behind him in a pew with dreadlocks. The poor fellow had come to worship, but he had dreadlocks. So the first thing he did, when he was given a chance at the end of the service to come and talk to the Christians, the first thing he said, people, let's watch our dress and hair. I've seen somebody with dreadlocks there. As soon as he said that, the young man walked out. This was, the way he did it was to embarrass the young man. And yet there would have been a better way to embrace him. Let's try to embrace these people and lead them into the correct way of doing things. Warm-ups are a necessity. I'm not going to give them to you here, but the more you engage in workshops of this nature and so you realize that you need to train. Even a runner, these guys who win marathons and what, they need to warm up before they go for the actual running. The same with singing. Choices of singers. How do I choose who will go for the trip? We talked about punctuality and attendance in rehearsal. That is number one priority. And with your choir leadership, I think you can sort that out. The challenge is some of us like certain people. Maybe because when they can come, they are good singers. Or you may like them for another reason, and that's why you want them to travel. Right? But have your administrators take up a stand on this. If you don't turn up for rehearsal, you don't travel. Period. Whether you like it or not. Like I said, there is a lot that could have covered here, but thank you very much for listening to me. I just opened a can of worms that you can go back and explore. There are a few things that I'll probably be able to share with you at some point through the leadership here, and then you will get them on your emails. They can help you in planning your choirs better. Thank you very much.
A big clap for him. A better one, a better one, a better one. At this juncture, I want to invite our sister, Christy Chiganda, to come and conduct a song that she will guide you. Then we start washing our stomachs because the food is already set. We want to go for lunch. So after the song, you just go. No, I will ask Sharon Sharon, after the song, you'll pray for the food. Then we go for our lunch. Please sit. You know, we are used to seeing men conducting the choirs. So today, ladies will carry the day. Let us all stand. We stand, all of us.
I don't know how many of you still have in your memory.
Come, ye say. All is well, all is well.
It's a piece that many of our choirs struggled with because it came from a
To make it more beautiful. Some very few. But most single double chance, okay? A double chance because it has too much together that single chance usually has 10 chords, and then the double chance has 2 chords. The part is the Lord, that is 4. Then the